Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're good. Today we're going to be looking at the Huawei Band 4 Pro, which is what I'm wearing right now. I've had this fitness band for about a week and we're going to do a review. We're going to see how good it is and we're going to see if it's worth buying. This is one of the slightly more expensive fitness bands out right now. However, it is one of the more advanced ones. It has some really cool tracking features. It's one of the better ones that I've tried. I also have the Mi Band 4, which is about a year old now, and the Mi Band 5 should be coming out soon, but I'm also going to do a comparison between these two in a different video. But for now, we're just going to look at the Huawei Band 4 Pro and see if it is worth getting. So let's go. So the Huawei Band 4 Pro features an internal GPS, a heart rate monitor, SpO2 tracker, and an infrared monitor, which enables it to track a lot of health and fitness metrics. It features an attractive, comfortable design. As you can see here, it's slightly on the curved side as opposed to most other fitness bands like the Mi Band 4, which is entirely kind of straight. There are other versions of this fitness band. There's the Huawei Band 4 and the Huawei Band 4e. Now, these kind of take away some of the tracking features, and I don't really think they're worth it. I think it's not that much more expensive, and it comes with all of the tracking features that really you should expect from a fitness band in 2020. Now, let's just go straight into the technical specifications, then we'll talk about what it's actually like to use on a day-to-day basis. So the Huawei Band 4 Pro features a 0.95-inch AMOLED color display with a resolution of 240 by 120 pixels. The size of the watch is 45mm for the main body, 19mm wide and 11mm thick, and it weighs 25 grams. It features a 6-axis IMU sensor, that's an accelerometer and a gyroscope. It also features an optical heart rate sensor and an infrared wear sensor. It also features internal GPS. It has a battery life of between 5 and 12 days. That will depend on how you use it, which features you activate and how long you use them for. It's waterproof up to 50 meters. And it uses Bluetooth 4.2. Now, as I mentioned, it features an AMOLED color display, and I actually find it to be one of the better displays I've ever seen in a band smartwatch. So, as the Band 4 Pro actually features probably the most vivid colors, the sharpest icons I've seen on a fitness band or a smart band. And that is due to the AMOLED display and the fairly high resolution of 240 by 120 pixels. And on a screen that's just 0.95 inches, that is plenty of pixels to create sharp icons and images. The body of the Band 4 Pro, like I mentioned before, is slightly curved. Now, I quite like this. I quite like slightly curved displays on watches. I think it looks more natural on your wrist. Now, it depends what kind of wrist you have, really. Some people's have more curved or more flat. It's going to depend which one is more comfortable for you, but I think the slightly curved body and curved display looks pretty good, and I find it more comfortable to wear. Really, at 11mm thick, it's pretty skinny as well, so I have used other fitness bands which have been thicker. I mean, the difference between them is not going to be massive, but I don't find the thickness to be a problem at all. It's definitely one of the least thick fitness bands that I have used. The Band 4 Pro has no physical buttons. It does have a kind of touchpad at the rear of the screen, which allows you to activate it. However, you can also activate the screen by simply moving your wrist upwards into the position that you would look at the screen, then it automatically activates. It doesn't feature an always on display, so it will turn itself off when you're not using it. Some people don't like that, but I think it's much better for saving battery life. You don't really need a screen to be on the whole time when it's a simple fitness band. The body is made of plastic, but Huawei describes it as hardened plastic, so I mean, it doesn't feel or look cheap. It seems to be, that slightly more premium plastic. Certainly other fitness bands and smartwatches use cheaper plastic. I mean, this feels to be quite premium in its design and its look. The only thing I would say about the design of the watch overall is that the screen to body ratio is a little bit off. The overall size of the body is quite a lot bigger than the screen itself, so it's not like an edge-to-edge display. There is quite a lot of the body left over when the screen ends. The Band 4 Pro is very comfortable to wear on a day-to-day basis. I have been using it for a week and I've not really found any reason to take it off, even when sleeping. The only time I take it off is to charge it, obviously. So yeah, I think this is easily wearable, which makes it a great sleep tracker if that's something that you want to get a smartwatch or a smart band for, to use it while you sleep, to track how long you're sleeping for, how good your sleep is. This is something that will do you well. Now, in my experience, there's only really been two downsides to the Band 4 Pro in terms of design, in terms of the screen. The first is the rather cheap the cheap strap that they give to you in the box. Now, this isn't really a massive issue. You can replace them pretty cheaply, but this is just basic rubber. I mean, it's comfortable, it's fine, it just doesn't look very nice. I mean, it's very basic looking, but the other issue is that in direct sunlight, it's quite difficult to see the screen. I did go outside and test it like that. In direct sunlight, it's quite difficult to see, even if you select the maximum brightness, and pretty much all smartwatches and smartbands with AMOLED displays have the same issue. Now let's look at the sensors and the tracking capabilities of the Huawei Band 4 Pro, because this is basically where it comes into its own. It is a great fitness and health tracker for the basic reason that it features slightly more sensors than other fitness bands that I've tried. It features an accelerometer, gyroscope, heart rate monitor, and an infrared sensor. Now the infrared sensor allows it to monitor something called SpO2, which is basically your blood oxygen saturation level. It's not going to replicate a medical device, but it does give a general indication. If your saturation level is between like 90 and 100%, then you should be fine. Anything below that, then you've got problems. But like I said, this is not a medical device. What they think it's going to be good for is to see if you have sleep apnea, to see if your blood oxygen level goes down when you sleep. That may mean you're having some issues sleeping, which you may not be aware of. And it can have some other health benefits as well. So that is something that I've not seen before in a smart band. So that was something really cool. I also find that the heart rate monitor is pretty accurate, more accurate than other smart bands that I've used. It can also monitor your heart rate continuously. If you select that option, it will lower the battery life, but I think it's worth it if you really want to test your health and your fitness. It's worth to have it at least every 20 seconds measure your heart rate. And obviously the accelerometer and gyroscope can measure how many steps you take in a day, so it's a decent pedometer as well. Now, if you're looking for something to track individual workouts, say you like to cycle, you like to run, you like to go marathons, I don't know, the treadmill at the gym, just general workouts, and you want to track how well you're doing and how far you run or stuff like that, then the Band 4 Pro will also be a great option for you. It has built-in tracking features for all the exercises that I just mentioned and a few more. For example, I often take it cycling and measure exactly where I'm going, how fast I'm going, how many calories I burn. All this kind of information the smartwatch can track and deliver it to the app, which we'll go into later. So yeah, it's great for tracking those individual workouts, and it can give you a surprising amount of information. Now, and what really makes the smart band great for tracking these workouts is the internal GPS that it has. Unlike many other smart bands and some smartwatches, it doesn't require a connection to your smartphone to be able to use the GPS. It has its own GPS in the watch itself, which makes it more accurate, I find, which makes it more reliable. And if you don't want to carry your phone, say if you want to go for a run or you want to go for cycling or something like that, and you want to track where you go, you want to map that out, you won't need to take your phone with you. All you need to do is wear the fitness band. I mean, I used it to cycle around central London, and I, went to quite a few different places and in and out of small roads, and it still managed to track really accurately where I was, how fast I was going, and it gave me all this data which otherwise I wouldn't have known, and I find it really interesting. But anyway, the GPS, super accurate, which is great because some GPS on these fitness bands tends to be hit and miss. Let's look at that software that I mentioned. Now, the software for many fitness bands are basically the same, guys. You're not going to have a huge amount of difference. For the Huawei Band 4 Pro, you're going to have to download the Huawei Health app, which basically connects to the fitness band, syncs all the data, and then displays it in graphs, tables, and basically shows you everything you need to know about your health and your fitness. When you first open the app, it will just have a grid of metrics for the day. So just to quickly see like your average heart rate, how many steps you've taken, how many calories you've burned, how much you slept in over the last night, whether it was good sleep, bad sleep, that kind of stuff. And if you want to go into individual workouts, you can do that, and it will give you lots of graphs, lots of data, maps, and all that kind of stuff to show you exactly how well that workout went. You can compare it to other ones. You can see how you can improve, how intense it was. So I find it really interesting, especially as someone who likes to run and likes to cycle, likes to do some workouts every now and then, even though it's quite difficult now because there's no gyms open. But cycling and running, it's working really well for me. I do find there are sometimes anomalies. For example, in one of my cycling tracking routes, it said I was going 125 miles per hour at one point. Now I'm good, but I'm not that good. Now let's look quickly at the other features that this fitness band has. There's a fairly basic menu system where you can look at your metrics. You can look at how many steps you've taken. There is a timer, there's a stopwatch. You can control music on the watch if you connect it to the phone app, and you can control your Spotify or whatever music player you use. It can also show notifications as long as it's again connected to the watch. It will show you messages. It will show you who's calling you. You can't make calls. You can't reply to messages on the band. You need to go to your phone to do that. It is waterproof to 5 meters. In fact, Huawei encourages you to use it underwater as some of the built-in workouts include swimming, outdoor swimming, indoor swimming, so it's obviously designed for swimmers. I think there is some kind of gray area where maybe if you were like surfing or, you know, in seawater, it might not work. And the battery life. So that's quite important for a lot of people. The battery life is kind of weird. I've used it for a week and I've only had to charge it twice, so that's pretty good. I have used the GPS a fair bit and I've turned the brightness up quite a lot. I think if you really wanted to extend the battery life, you could get it to like 10 or 12 days, but you would be losing out on some of the features. So guys, that's it. That is the Huawei Band 4 Pro. This is actually my first ever Huawei product, and I know they are not the most popular company, certainly with the US government, and there's only so much the Chinese government can learn from my heart rate, I guess. So if they are tracking me, well, enjoy. But it is one of the better fitness bands I've used. It's super comfortable. I think it looks great. I do think it's slightly on the large side in terms of the body, but that's the only thing I can say about the design. The tracking is what really matters, and it does it really well. It's certainly the most accurate one I've ever used, and the SpO2 tracker is a nice bonus, but for the most part it's the GPS, the internal GPS, and the accuracy of the heart rate monitor and the decent software that comes with it. So those three make this a very, very decent fitness band, and for a fairly low price, maybe slightly more expensive than its competitors. I got packages today, so new stuff. I won't reveal what they are right now, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be exciting. So it's going to be some more smartphones and smartwatches coming very soon. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.